What's up guys, Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today we have the first day of Titan Reaver, a 7-day long event. So don't worry if you don't get your best hit in on day one, you might get stronger and stronger over time. This is a very interesting battle. We previewed this on the VN test servers, and this is where you're fighting two Dream Realm bosses back to back, where you cannot reuse heroes in the same lineup. I think that's really cool, and I'd almost like to see this expanded to 3, maybe even 4 bosses in a row in the future. Of course, the big rewards down here, yeah, all rewards have been claimed. It's hard to see. You do need to get to 550 points here. This is going to be the big goal, which shouldn't be too hard for everybody to accomplish, because again, everybody is going to be locked at level 300, so it's not anything too crazy here. And what we have is a team that is going to be very free to play friendly. And why is that? Well, because we're going to be using heroes like Merrily and Corrin, heroes that we built way back at the beginning of AFK Journey, with adding in one new mixture, which is Lily May. Beyond that, we're going to be using the Verdant spell here for some pretty good damage. And of course, we are going to have the second team mainly just focusing on the OD damage here. We're going to use the Arcane spell for additional magic damage, and we're going to have other things like Thorin that just about everybody has for the additional damage bonuses, some healing, and of course, Shakir. Now, this is going to be better, of course, when Shakir is at Mythic Plus. If he's not Mythic Plus, you might want to substitute him out on something else, but at this point, all of these heroes are ones that you should have been focusing on your free-to-play account. So this right here, free-to-play, should be an absolutely amazing setup. And then a little bit later, I'm going to show you guys the more pay-to-win version, where they're very close to the same team, like very close. It's swapping like the Smokey and the Mikkela around. It's swapping up and adding a couple of more pay-to-win heroes in, like Talene and Fresto. But you notice here, right on this fight, we have Smokey and Murky going in pretty good here. He's going to get his third ultimate, and towards the end of this ultimate, you are going to see the bat summons come up right here. So you can see they pop up, and they take a ton of damage from him. Perfectly worked out. Nice to see. And honestly, on an account like mine, I think we're still getting somewhere in the ballpark of 700+ million damage, which is more than overkill. You only need 550 to claim all the rewards. And if I remember correctly, there's no true leaderboard in this. It just tells you essentially what percent you are in the player base. So there's only one person that says 100. The rest are going to be 99.9 or lower. So it'll give you kind of a rating to see how you match up against, I think, everybody in the game, to be honest. I think that's how that works out. So let's see what our damage ends up being like. Again, this is a very free-to-play friendly version team. Honestly, this is going to be a very similar composition you're going to see for the paid version too. We're going to add Odie into this team. We're going to be mixing things up just a little bit, but as it stands right now, this is going to be the go-to. If you can do this free-to-play, perfect. Now again, you really want to make sure almost everybody in these compositions are Mythic Plus. If they're not Mythic Plus, you're going to be missing out on some bonuses here. Again, adding a hero like Coco in this is very important at Mythic Plus. Again, the Coco has to be Mythic Plus, because of course that shield is the most important part about the Crystal Beetle, because you notice how they get knocked up when they don't have a shield. That's really bad. And when we go to the paid version of this, I'm going to show you guys why it's super important, because it's going to involve Talene. But this team right here, again, you just want to try to keep as much uptime on this shield as possible. That way we are not getting interrupted. You can see every once in a while we do get interrupted here and there. So that is kind of it's not the best situation, but it's still not too bad. If you don't have someone like Coco, adding someone in like Lucius who can spam shields on ultimate can be very good. However, I don't think he's still going to have like 100% uptime. 442, that is not too bad right there for a free-to-play version. And yeah, 763, that's actually not too bad. Now, that's not equal to what we did on our paid version, because you can see right here, our pay-to-win account, we got 900, not quite 100. But let's jump into that. I'm going to talk about one thing first, though. There is an artifact that's going to be used. And if you haven't done it just yet, you need to come up to your quest here. There is a quest up here to unlock the second clan reputation. If you have not unlocked Carmine Thug, don't worry, you can do 2 quests today and actually unlock it, because it's at Aloof Plus that they give it to you. So very easy. And if you've been keeping up with your tower levels, you should be able to max it out immediately. This one's different because it doesn't have any attack or crit or anything like that on the actual spell. It's physical and magic defense. haste and life drain, so a very tanky survivability oriented ones. And it says whenever an allied hero enters the enemy side of the battlefield, they're going to get a permanent shield until it wears off, essentially, or gets removed, equal to 6% of the whole team's attack, so a very good shield. Once 3 different allied heroes enter that enemy side, you get a banner that basically increases your damage up to 26% and also reduces the damage they take by 20 side when they're on the enemy side of the battlefield. And you'll see this little etching on it when we go to it. So those are the important parts right there I want to talk about. Let's jump over. I'm going to show you guys the paid version, the pay to win, with a couple more celestial hypogen heroes. So this right here is going to be the spender version. You're going to be putting both the Odie from the other lineup and the Mikola in here instead of the Smokey and the Corn. That's going to be the big swap out. And of course, frontline spell is going to be big. Swapping over the Odie is important to make sure he does get a shield, and then he's also on the enemy side of the battlefield. Keeping all of our heroes on the enemy side is super important. You'll see the line very, very close. You can see Mikola has the square, but it is very hex dependent on this, so it's very, very important. The second team here is going to be a little bit different of a layout here. I've tried a couple different things. I've seen Freyasto with the damage reduction on the Taylene. I've also seen ones that put the energy one on Taylene in front, so that is like 2 different things. And of course, 2 things we're going to do. We're going to keep our Smokey and Mirky over off to the side, because the hit he does is the 3 middle tiles, so if you put your supports on the side, they should be fine. And Coco is kind of in a very similar situation here. So you can see right here, see this little line, the zigzaggy line right here? That is what the frontline spell considers the enemy side. They give you pretty much right down the middle, which is nice to see. It looks like it's more than it is just because the way the battlefield is tilted here. But again, keeping everybody on that side of the battlefield is very, very good. Fairly's the only one that is kind of hard to control. Granted, you can do this manually if you want, so you can put her on the other side of the battlefield, and that might actually increase your overall damage. I would probably try to do this one manually. Everybody else should be fine kind of doing however you want, but again, keeping your Merrily on that enemy side of the battlefield should be a very good boost. Again, a lot of people don't like doing it manually, but you will see a difference in your damage if you keep it like this. So just keep that in mind. You really should manually control this Merrily here, just moving her back and forth across the battlefield. That'll give you the best results. The only downside is you have to click a lot with this hero. And if you let it do auto, it's going to smart move away from the battlefield. So you see right there, I just hit the icon. She immediately moves out of the enemy side of the battlefield. We want to be over there. That is the most important thing, because you can see that little green banner over there. That means we have control, or we have enemy allies over there, which are then causing a little bit better damage. So 331, pretty dang good. And then here we go. This is where Taylene and Freyasto should take over this battlefield here. Definitely don't want to use that new artifact on this one, because being on the enemy side of the battlefield is a little difficult on the Crystal Beetle at times. And this is where the shield from Coco is very, very important, because you see Taylene stop casting her ultimate right there. We don't want her getting interrupted. If she can continue to spam her ability, that will be good. If she gets interrupted right there again, she now has to generate all the way back up. So I've seen, again, a lot of people using this Coco team. To be honest, I feel like maybe using Lucius here might be the better option. Granted, Coco does provide I think what, haste and damage buffs, attack buffs as well, so it's kind of hard not using her. But again, if this Taylene is getting interrupted without having a shield up, that's gonna be bad. Granted, the first couple ones are gonna be the worst, because she might not have a shield left over or anything like that, because yeah, it just might be really bad timing. And let's see the next one. She does have a little bit of a shield, so we are fine. Again, the first couple ones might be an issue, and you can see right here, already up over, we're almost basically clearing this entire thing of 550 necessary damage done. It's just in this one shot, which is kind of impressive, I must say. It's actually pretty dang good. So you can see the total damage number coming up here, 860. Again, still not as good as what I was previously running on this, which again, I just feel like there are better ways to go about it. I've hit 902, so I kind of want to show you guys what my personal best is now, because again, my personal best is, where is it? Right here. This one here is what we were previously using. I don't know if anybody else copied it, since it looks like they might have. Is that the same exact team? I know this one's the same exact team. Okay, I want to show you my personal best, which is actually quite a bit more than this team here. So essentially, we are running the new spell, the new artifact as well. We're swapping over, so pretty close to the same thing, except we're both running both Smokey and Mirky and Mikula on this side of the battlefield. And then on this team here, all we're essentially running is the Coco. We're not really running any healers or anything like that, any damage buffers. And again, we're putting her behind the Fresto that's giving additional energy. So that's kind of giving her additional damage potentially sometimes. It also, if she does get interrupted, she'll get back to her ultimate faster. So let's see what our original team looks like, because this is the one I kind of was playing with earlier today, and it seemed like it was the best, but then I saw people on Reddit and Discord and everything like, hey, this is the best team. So I'm like, I'll give it a try. I'll see if it works. Supposedly it's supposed to be the best, but as you guys see, at least for my account, this team is working better. So again, don't always take the final like, oh, this is the best team as the best result. It really depends on what your account has and what you have at your disposal. In this situation, running both Lily May and Odie with two support heroes, Mikula and Smokey, giving them attack buffs, ends up being pretty good. And I can kind of understand why, because both Mikula and Smokey are giving those buffs to Lily May, which is making her growth build up faster, which means she get to her peak damage at a much faster rate. You see, we're already at 300 million right here. Really good damage on this squad, like really good. I think this is probably one of the best Skyclops versions to do for the first battle. It does slow down here at the end because this round of bats always takes a little longer, but we might break 350. Yep, there we go. Now we get to 400, right? 400 is probably a little bit of a stretch. About 381. That's still good. That's actually better than my previous attempts I was using before. And now we're going to be going into this team. Still the same exact strategy. It's really the only difference is instead of having a healer in like Smokey or something like that, we're adding Thorin in. So Thorin is adding a damage multiplier buff with his basic attacks, which is really powerful. And again, once again, we need the shield on our Taylene to keep her going. So far, it's actually looking pretty good. Did get interrupted there, so once again, it's going to take her a little bit of time to get back to her ultimate. And again, that's why putting her behind the main body of Fresto does help to get her back to casting that ultimate. You see right here, we're already almost breaking 400 million. Man, this actually might be a new record. Maybe we'll actually get higher than our one previously earlier today. Just by, I mean, we didn't really even change anything. So there is going to be RNG in these fights too, because we did 902 earlier this morning when I was messing around with some teams, and I'm kind of happy that like I made a team up and started using it that was like not exactly what I would call what everybody is doing on Discord, because a lot of the teams we share that we always sharing like the Analytica teams that people come up with. 530, okay, that part wasn't like super duper crazy, and we did get a new record though. 912, not too bad. We'll share this one just to make sure people have access to that and see it. Basically did better on the first battle, a little less on the second one, and that gave us a final total ranking of, you can't see it, but surpassed 99.22% of players. So hopefully these teams help you out. I know some of them are not acquirable for someone that's free to play. That's why we had those in the beginning. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.